Hey everyone, it's Jack.
And Jackie from the Mindful Homestead.
And we're here with Emma because we got tagged into the 10 questions for homesteaders from Copper Kettle Farms. So I've got the questions right here on my phone, and we'll just get right into it, and we'll see how long Emma tolerates being around. We got tagged in this collaboration by Amy over at Farmish Kind of Life. So thanks, Amy, for tagging us in, and let's get to it. Question number 1, what got us into homesteading?
What got us into homesteading? I would say a big push was when we found out that we were pregnant with Emma. We had always been interested in where our food came from and being more sustainable and such, but bringing a little one into the world, being tasked with where her food comes from, I think it really pushed us to take a look at that and start our homestead.
Yeah, really it was all about getting better food for all of us, and we knew we could do that by raising our own rather than getting it from the store. Question number 2, what's something that we want to add to our homestead in 2020? Probably expand on the pigs that we did this past year.
Yeah, we had really good success with the 3 that we did last year. It was a big learning curve for us, but it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it, and we want to do a little bit more this coming year.
Yeah, that was something for Jackie and me. We had never really been around bigger livestock. We'd done chickens and we'd done meat chickens before, but
give your cutie toots.
we had never really gotten involved with big livestock before. Pigs were kind of our first foray into that. So we had a lot of really good success with them, and we want to expand that to 5, 6, maybe even 7 pigs. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, the next question is, what was the most difficult lesson you've learned while homesteading thus far?
So for us this year, we brought our bacon and hams to a smokehouse outside of one that we've used before. The one that we normally used was fully loaded up and wasn't taking anything. We were late on that. So we brought it to a new smokehouse, and the bacon came back incredibly salty. And the lesson that we gleaned from that was if we really care about something that we've gotten on our homestead, we should maybe put the work in and learn to process it all the way. Mainly because that was a lot of pork from the pig, and it's not inedible, but it could have tasted definitely way better than it ended up. So I think the lesson learned there was just to vet people that you work with or companies that you work with, and if you can't vet them, just learn the process and do it yourself. All right, question number 4. What is your favorite chore on the homestead?
Definitely gardening for me. I love anything to do with the vegetable garden, the flower beds. That's where I like to be when I'm not at work or doing household chores or hanging out with Emma.
Yeah, you definitely like being in the garden more than I do. Jackie kind of grows all the stuff in the garden. That's her deal. I help out. My favorite chore would probably have to be anything that involves the tractor. It's kind of like when you were little and you had the Tonka trucks and played around in the sandbox with those. And for me, the tractor is like a real life Tonka truck. So that's probably my favorite thing to do, whether it's moving dirt or snow blowing or pretty much anything that we use the tractor for. All right, question number 5. We're halfway there. What's your favorite thing to grow?
Besides flowers and all of my front gardens, the back garden, the veggie garden, I would say string beans. They were a surprise this past year. They weren't doing well at first, and then all of a sudden one day we kind of flipped up one of the leaves and a whole bunch of little string beans were under there. I think that was pretty satisfying.
Emma just went around the first floor and came out on the other side. So I like growing fruit. We have a lot of blueberry bushes, we have raspberry bushes, we have a lot of that stuff. But probably my favorite thing to grow, which is a little bit weird, is tomatoes. Part of the reason why that's weird is I don't really... Part of the reason why that's weird is I really don't eat tomatoes that much. I like tomato sauce, I like cooked tomatoes. I'll eat tomato on like a BLT. But really, most of the time, I don't like raw tomatoes, especially if they're overpowering. It's kind of weird that I like growing tomatoes, but to me, in like the summertime, seeing a big, juicy, ripe heirloom tomato, or we had those Sun Gold variety that we grew this year, and there were tons of these little tiny bright orange cherry tomatoes that were on the vines, and it was pretty cool. So I think my favorite thing to grow is tomatoes, just because I think they're cool. They're cool plants.
All right, next question. What do you like the most about the homesteading community?
I think the thing I like most about the homesteading community, at least what I've experienced so far, is people's willingness to share info with everyone. There's a lot of different YouTube channels out there that you can get info from. There's a lot of different websites and blogs and all sorts of different resources. People are just really open to sharing info and not necessarily putting it behind paywalls and things like that that make it much harder to access. So that, and everyone's been pretty nice so far that I've met. I haven't really met a jerk in the homesteading community.
No, certainly not.
Except for me. I can be a jerk online sometimes, getting Facebook arguments.
Yes.
That's neither here nor there. If I've been a jerk to you online, I'm sorry. I'm really friendly. Here's one. What is your favorite meal that you make?
I don't cook. I bake.
Jackie?
So,
yeah.
I would say on Homestead, I would go with zucchini bread, muffins, all that stuff, because we try to use stuff out of the garden as much as possible, and I really actually like to bake with zucchini, but I do not cook. The joke here between us when Jack travels is that it's kind of like, oh, Jackie's gonna have chicken fingers and french fries again, because I don't cook. I can cook if I have to, but it's not my favorite.
She really doesn't like cooking. She does the baking, which is good, because I'm not good at baking. The main thing there is I don't use a lot of recipes. I just kind of cook off the cuff. Whatever's in the garden or whatever I pulled out of the freezer that night, I just kind of wing it. So my recipes always look different, and nothing I make ever really comes out the same. But one thing I did cook recently that was really good was we had a grass-fed cow that we got from a local family that raises cattle. I made a meatloaf, and we had just slaughtered our pigs for the year. And I took the caul fat from one of the pigs and wrapped the meatloaf in it. But that was really good, and that's one of my favorite things local or one of my favorite things recently that I've made. What's your favorite holiday, babe?
I'd have to say Christmas, just for the fact that we have everybody here at our place, and it's always an awesome time of year because we get to have everybody we love in one place and really just enjoy time together.
Around Christmas time, usually we get to see family, which is pretty awesome. All right, it's Jackie's turn to ask.
Oh,
Emma?
Shit! Our little videographer.
I know.
Here's the producer.
Emma just almost took the camera right out by knocking the tripod over.
So are we staying here or are we moving? Is that basic question. So we moved here about 4 years ago, and it's been wonderful. We have about 10.5 acres of land, though mostly forest. But it definitely gives us a lot of opportunity to do things here. However, one itch that we always have is that it's pretty far away from where parts of our life are. So my job, our friends, doctor's offices, things like that. And sure, we can relocate some of that stuff over the years, and we just haven't yet. But I think part of that is because our hearts are still elsewhere in the state, so we're not sure.
We're gonna probably be here for the foreseeable future. I don't think we're planning on moving anytime soon, but we have kicked around the idea of, in the future, 5 years plus, finding a piece of land that has kind of more open pasture, intermixed with some forest, and it's long term. We're not looking to leave anytime soon, but we may at some point find something else. Last question. What are some homesteaders that you follow and enjoy learning from?
I would say Lumnah Acres was a big one for me personally, because I wasn't really too keen on the homesteading thing at first when Jack introduced it, and we were watching them, and that really pushed me towards seeing what day-to-day life was like. Emma's having a meltdown, so we're working on it.
We're wrapping up the video really quickly. Yeah, Lumnah Acres was a big one for us. It was kind of the one that introduced homesteading to Jackie. I kind of knew that I wanted to do it, but they had a really similar setup to us. And then there's a lot of other channels that we watch. Obviously, Homesteading has a lot of tutorials. Lost over there is great. He's actually answered a lot of questions for us. And then there's a lot of smaller channels. The Homestead, Sunny Slope Acres. Really, there's just a ton of people out there, and everyone's really cool. I bounce around all sorts of channels. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's the 10 questions. We're supposed to tag 3 people in this.
Who's it gonna be?
Let's do Sunny Slope Acres. Mike, over there, you got 10 questions. You coming your way, buddy. Let's do the Honeystead. Let's get a bigger channel in there. Kaylee, you've got a lot of people that watch your channel, so let's see. You answer these 10 questions. Let's see, one more. Who are we gonna do? Let's throw it out there. Let's go big. Al, up at Lumnah Acres, I want to see you do these 10 questions. You're probably one of the biggest homesteading channels out there. Love to see you get down on this. If you guys have any questions you want us to expound on these answers and maybe give a little bit more info, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And make sure you go check out Copper Kettle Farms. They were the one that started this whole collaboration. We'll see ya.
Bye.